Надо... Парус как-то видно?
Мне кажется, вы захватываете?
Больше нас.
Лариса Николаевна сейчас.
Да, вот сам это фото для Ларисы Николаевны.
Все-таки серьезно.
Thank you so much. Issue for STEM community in general, especially in relation to the future generation. There are a lack of publicity, available programs of etiquette, for example, rules of etiquette with communication with people with disabilities. According to the statistic, 15% of the world population are disabled. In the other world, more than 1 million people are disabled. The main problem that in the rest 5 and 7 billion people do not know how to culturally communicate with this group of people. According to research, 20% of respondents feel discomfort when they meet people with disabilities. Most of them do not know how to behave properly with people with disabilities. Of course, nowadays, many governments are making every effort to help people with disabilities integrate into society. We can build the stairs, ramps, a special entrance for shopping center for disabled people, but they will be unnecessary if it is not person who will have to use it. We can make available parking space in this. We can make available parking space for disabled people, but it will be useless if people occupy them with their car. We can equip every gas station and shopping center with a special restroom, but for disabled people, I mean. But this will be useless if there are a huge queue to them. According to survey, all the questions who shake hands with someone who can prosthetic arms or hands. 90% of respondents answered that they don't know how to act properly in this situation. We see our mission that ensure communication between disabled people in society by using of internet resources for the training of society and by other action aimed at covering the barriers that slow the process of socialization of disabled people and receiving services on the equal basis with others. Especially knowledge of these rules of etiquette when dealing with people with disabilities is necessary for employees of organizations that often communicated with them. I mean service sector, hotels, shops, restaurants, education institutions, journalistic, etc. And now I'm pleased to announce it, that our non-profit organization, International High School of Etiquette, has been successful in the way. Every month we hold free online classes on this issue. In 2018, the number of our students reached 3 million. Moreover, we plan to release a free application for the phone mobile by this March, I guess, and will contain video tutorials and some exercise on the topic of etiquette. But the most important, that we create a system for the promotion people with a high level of social and cultural responsibility. In other words, education of CSCR. We are interested in raising people who have been studied in our school and show it a high result. They receive a special bonus and privileges from different companies. For example, they have been they have the opportunity to buy the ticket on the plan with 70% discount, or they will get a free education at college and university. Thus, we encourage well-educated people and create a new responsible generation. However, now we have been supported only by commercial organizations, and we are here, and our goal is to get support from government, public organization, and also, of course, from United Nations. For practical implementation of the program, at the first stage it is necessary. Officially introduced the education of SCR into the ID, I mean passport or some driver license. At the United National level, develop a system to reward people with high social and cultural responsibility. Maybe restrict access to some service to people with low social and cultural responsibility. We believe that our presentation will take into the account by government and commercial organizations. We, International High School of Etiquette, hope that our ideas will find support for the realization of this implementation of the indicator of social and cultural responsibility. We invite everyone who wants to cooperate with us. Each of us contributes to the improvement of society. Thank you so much.
Дорогие друзья, у нас есть еще одно приветственное слово, и я попрошу Ному прочитать.
Yes, dear colleagues and friends, it's nice to meet you at this event, outside the event. And now directly from Moscow, from Russia, a welcome speech of our President, President of Larisa Zelentsova. Dear colleagues and friends, participants of the 57th session of the UN Commission for Social Development, permit me to express my gratitude to the UN Commission for Social Development for constantly growing attention to people with disabilities, protection of their rights and well-being, stressing the advantages which society gets due to their participation in political, social, economic and cultural life. It's not a secret that today most of our fellow citizens concerned with people with disabilities feature or an emotional neglect, even with hostility, without the understanding that they are those people who deserve special attitude towards themselves. Quite often society perceives a person with disabilities as poor, without capabilities, with the lost opportunities, which requires material support and daily help, a person who can't realize himself in society. The principal aspect of features of people with disabilities and the main thing, their perception as part of mankind is enshrined in the UN Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. Does the society understand that the main problem of a person with disabilities is not the lack of wheelchair and artificial limb and even not small pension? And above all, for them is to have opportunities to exercise the right to life, to education, to employment and to self-realization. Do you know that such famous representatives of mankind as composers Frédéric Chopin, Johann Sebastian Bach, artists Leonardo da Vinci, Claude Monet, Edgar Degas, and the famous French actress Sarah Bernard? Many others had vital issues with health, but each person in the world knows about their achievements and didn't prevent them to become great. Isn't it paradoxical that Ludwig van Beethoven had big problems with hair? One of the US presidents, Franklin Roosevelt, had several defeat of the musculoskeletal device and moved all his life in a wheelchair. The famous British physicist and the author of the theory of black holes, Professor Stephen Hawking, who scored modern Einstein and who was changed more than 40 years, to wheelchair and could communicate with the world not only by means of computer synthesizer of the speech made flight, by specially designed plane to feel state of weightlessness imagine despite heavy disability. How can research the fundamental laws managing the universe? Him, the 8 geniuses from the 100 geniuses of the present list continue to lead full-fledged life, learning new and granting the knowledge to the world. For this reason, we must make our society civilized in which disability want to be a brand with deep social isolation and distance. It is important that the government and non-governmental organizations, private companies, paid attention to intensive and innovative actions for further use of the international standards and standards concerning people with disabilities. Schools, universities, and other educational institutions shall create proper conditions for their training. Mass media can make a especially valuable contribution to case of support of people with disabilities. To distribute information and disability shortcomings of medical services, imperfection of education and professional training, to report about the achievements and problems arising and carrying out social policy about the programs and projects directed to support of people with disabilities, to promote understanding by society of need of not just abstract human attitude towards people with disabilities and the specific active help and treatment. Their activities are limited to physical, social, psychological and other barriers. We live in an era of high technologies and computer communications. It is a unique opportunity to create all conditions for full activity of people with disabilities, to provide them with work and to use all their intellectual potential. At the beginning of the 21st century, to live a considerable part of the population of the globe outside the society is not just a tragedy, but a crime, and everyone has to define for himself what he can personally make for people who daily throw down a challenge to understanding and daily overcome themselves. I wish you ever success in our side event. Ms. Larissa Zemitsova. Thank you so much.
Следующее слово я хотел бы представить нашему партнеру Джади Шусавани, президенту Американо-Индийской общественного комитета. Пожалуйста.
Good afternoon. I am honored to be welcoming you all on this 57th session of United Nations Commission for Social Development. This year, the United Nations Commission has made the priority theme addressing inequalities and challenges to social inclusion through fiscal, wage and social protection policies. As we go through today's module, we will hear about how social policies are shaping and challenging world in the new digital landscape. But first, let us talk about why this matters. Reducing inequality is at heart and intersection of all our global agendas, be it sustainable development, sustaining peace, or prevention of global suffering. As the President of American Indian Public Affairs Committee, I work constantly with United States, India and other countries to achieve global peace through dialogue. Despite our efforts, which are aided by powerful weapons in our policy arsenals to address inequalities, we as people continue to move at a glacial pace. While nearly 1.1 billion people have risen from extreme poverty since 1990, vulnerable group, which includes women, children, youth, persons with disabilities, indigenous people and older persons still suffer a great degree of poverty. At last year's commission, we learned that reduction of inequality has clear social and economic benefits, and it strengthens people's sense that society is fair and improves social cohesion and mobility. But one tool we continue to overlook to help us reduce inequality is the technology. our society have to evolve in sync with new technology, or we all risk being left behind and ill-adapted to the new reality around us. The way we innovate our social policies is just as important as how we innovate technology. Interconnectivity and digital technologies are an important piece of development puzzle. Innovations such as artificial intelligence, mobile payment, high-speed internet, blockchain create new opportunities for all sections of societies and enable progressive and inclusive social policy that leave none behind. There are many ways that interconnectivity can improve the lives of people, especially in remote and rural communities around the world. In India, for instance, access to internet opened a whole lot of new world and possibility for many people struggling communities. Much of the farmers and weaker sections' life has changed. In China and Qatar has developed a range of information material such as mobile application and online resources that help children, parents, educators understand new technologies in an accessible way. Different countries are taking different steps to leverage technology to help reduce inequality and increase access to information. Innovative social policies and interconnectivity can also help in areas such as access to new digital technologies, gender equalities, and freedom to information. Ensuring that women and men have equal access to digital technologies and freedom of expression, especially is important in our society, are developed evenly and leave no one behind. In India, especially, let me talk about it, that this new technology has helped more than 500 million people to improve their lifestyle, especially under our leadership of Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. About 500 people have got access to health insurance and to the bank. Along with everyone else here, I am truly excited to hear about the Russian landscape and how key policies will continue to shape their society and world society. Thank you again for having me here. Namaskar. Thank you.
Дорогие друзья, разрешите представить доклад по теме нашей встречи. Действительно, мы сейчас находимся в сложном мире, он глобален, он стал цифровым, это касается каждого.
Yes, dear friends, let me introduce our team Human Capital and Motivation of Labor Collectives, and it's important for our difficult world.
Согласно резолюциям, принятым ООН, сегодня перед нами как никогда стоит задача поиска системного ответа на вызовы третьего тысячелетия.
According to the resolutions adopted by the UN, today we are faced with the task of finding a systematic response to the challenges of the third millennium world and era.
Указом президента России Владимира Владимировича Путина от 7 мая 2018 года о национальных целях и стратегических задачах развития Российской Федерации до 2004 года правительству задачи.
By the decree of the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, of May 7, 2018, on national goals and strategic objectives of the Russian Federation for the period up to 2024, the tasks are set.
Главной задачей поставлено повысить производительность труда.
Labor productivity growth at medium and large enterprises basis the basic non-primary sectors.
Также поставлена задача стимулирования внедрения самых передовых управленческих и организационно-технических решений для повышения производительности труда и модернизации основных фондов, в том числе по предоставлению налоговых преференций.
encouraging the introduction of advanced management, organizational and technological solutions to increase productivity and modernize fixed assets, including thought the provision of tax preferences.
Друзья, позвольте представить модель инновационных решений, поставленных президентом задач, разработанных коллективом ученых и практиков национальной компании человеческого капитала и партнерства «Русские артели», которые я возглавляю.
Dear friends, let me present a new model of artels.
Yes. В России еще до революции в Советском Союзе существовали артели, которые совершили важные прорывы в экономике. До 90% товаров народного потребления производили 6% артелей.
In Russia, before the revolution and in the Soviet Union, there were artels that made important breakthroughs in the economy.
Важная составляющая, что производительность труда составлял до 300% по сравнению с обычным наемным трудом.
Labor productivity could be up to 300% compared to ordinary wage labor.
Сегодня мы назовем артельщиков настоящим человеческим капиталом страны.
Today we would call the artel workers a real human capital.
Работать в артели всегда было почетно. Труженики реализовывали себя в артели творчески, сплоченно, управляя своим временем эффективно и за это получали справедливое вознаграждение.
It was always in order to work in the artel. Workers realized themselves in the artel creatively and aggressively, managing their time effectively, and for this rightly receiving remuneration for work in a team where there are no separate laws.
Производственные кооперативы, артели, существовали задолго до СССР и были известны под брендом «русские» или «российские артели».
Production cooperatives, artels, existed long before the Soviet Union and right now under the Russian brand, the Russian artels.
В чем же суть артелей?
So, what is the essence of?
Во-первых, в артелях коллективная собственность. И организация труда организована подобно как в общине на основе авторитета самых опытных под руководством коллегиально избранного старейшины старшего.
First, the cooperatives have collective property. The organization of work is organized in the same way as in the community on the basis of the authority of the most experienced under the guidance of collegially elected elders, senior.
Как в общине все по справедливости и направлено на единую цель благополучия и богатения.
As in the community, all is fair and focused on a single goal of prosperity.
В артели белая ворона не тот, кто выдвигает предложение, как лучше работать, а тот, кто отсиживается и ничего не делает.
In the artel, the white crow is not the one who puts forward proposals on how to work better, but the one who sits out and does nothing.
Во времена Хрущева произошла отмена коллективной собственности, и артели практически все были национализированы государством.
During the Khrushchev power times, collective ownership of cooperatives was abolished, and virtually all of the farms was nationalized by the state.
Сегодня артели снова возрождаются.
Today, artels again evolve.
Если раньше перед государством за налоги отвечала целиком артель и все вопросы распределения доходов между пайщиками гибко решались внутри, то после запрета артели произошло так называемое разделение на аванс или получку.
Before the state was responsible for taxes entirely artel and all the issue of the income distribution between shareholders flexibly resolved within. Then there was a so-called division into advance and pay, given from above, and it hit the very essence for the flexibility of the self-development of the labor community.
Как это работает? В чем же разница? В чем разница между наемным и ненаемным трудом? И еще известный Карл Маркс говорил, что между трудом и капиталом неизбежен антагонизм или конфликт. понятно, между человеком и высокоорганизованной корпорацией трудно рассчитывать, чтобы каждый голос был услышан.
So only the team knows who showed sealed work and metal assistance. As a result, tensions are growing within the team. Payment often depends not on output, but on how much the employer personally liked.
Артель формирует фонды по управлению интеллектуальной собственностью тружеников для последующей ее биржевой капитализации.
Artel also works to feel a sense of justice and owner security. In the Artel funds for social protection of workers, current tasks and strategic development are created, and municipal programs for the development of the territory are co-financed.
Как это оформляется? Мы предлагаем модель между трудом и капиталом вместо конфликта заключить контракт на трудовую функцию.
We propose a model, how it is made. We propose a model between labor and capital instead of a conflict to conclude the contract for the labor function.
Таким образом, артель, как наиболее оптимальная форма самоуправления трудового коллектива, выступает исполнителем по контрактам с бизнес-заказчиками.
Thus, the Artel is the most optimal form of self-management of the labor collective, acts as an executor under contracts with business customers.
Привлечение артели на субподрядной работы подходит для бизнеса, который готов и заинтересован передать часть нестратегических процессов на аутсорсинг.
The involvement of the cooperative for subcontractor was suitable for a business who is willing and interested to transfer some of their non-strategic services.
Если заказчик объявляет конкурс по привлечению исполнителей, то для артелей устанавливаются особые преференции по налогам.
If the client announces a competition to attract artists, collectives are established with specific preferences.
Что уникально?
What is unique?
Наша команда в партнерстве с производственным кооперативом конструкторско-хозяйственной артели «Исток» разработал набор авторских решений для поддержки работы артелей.
Our team, in partnership with the manufacturing, engineering and car business team, ISTOK has developed a set of authors' decisions to support the work of cooperatives.
Базовые решения – это две связки так называемых ключей по учету индивидуального вклада каждого артельщика, а также ключи распределения фондов артели для системных инвестиций в развитие.
Basis solutions are two bundles of so-called case to account for the individual contribution of each artel, as well as the keys of the distribution of artel funds for systemic investment in development.
Это действительно многогранный и объективный учет, основанный на справедливости и системности.
This is indeed a multi-phased and objective accounting based on justice and consistently. The payroll officer especially prepared use of the methodology.
Следующая связка ключей обеспечивает систему инвестирования на развитие текущих задач и стратегического развития.
The next set of keys provides a system of investment in solving current problems and strategic development.
Также три ключа по инвестированию в будущее, поддержке сохранения прошлого и проекты в настоящем.
There are also three keys: investing in the future, supporting the preservation of the past, and projects in the present.
Власть бизнес-общества. Три единства на деле.
The alternatives to business society unity part.
Для власти развитие артельной формы труда обозначает обеспечить себе сильную опору для решения социальных задач, начиная с занятости, самозанятости и до совместных целевых программ инвестирования в территорию.
For the authorities, the development of the artel form of labor means to provide strong support for solving social problems, for employment, self-employment, to join targeted programs of investment in the territory.
Создает возможность решения вопросов вовлечения молодежи и других социальных задач.
It creates an opportunity to address issues of young involvement and so on.
Для бизнеса это увеличение производительности, гибкости, конкурентоспособности, а также участие в капитализации артелей.
For business, it is an increase in productivity, flexibility, competitiveness, as well as participation in capitalization.
Капитализация национального человеческого потенциала из союза артели территорий.
Capitalization of national human capital from the union of hotels of the territory.
С котировкой на бирже человеческого капитала территорий.
Consideration on the bears.
Для общества образуется новая отрасль экономики по управлению развитием и капитализации трудовых ресурсов.
For society, a new branch of the economy is formed to manage the development and capitalization of labor resources.
Как известно, все ведущие страны мира поддерживают развитие своих экономик, облегчая бизнесу доступ к длинным и дешевым деньгам.
As you know, the leading countries of the world support the development of their economies by facilitating business access to long and cheap money.
Например, глобальные пенсионные страховые фонды переполнены деньгами и выдают деньги под 24% годовых до 25 лет.
For example, the same global pension funds and insurance companies are now overflowing with money and give money at 2% or 4% annum up to 25 years in the public company and is funded municipal sectors.
В нашем случае Союз артели территории совместно с местной властью создают частно-муниципальные компании и обеспечивают выход на финансовые рынки и привлекают длинные и дешевые деньги.
In our case, the union of the territory artels together with the local authorities create private and municipal companies which provides an opportunity to enter the financial markets and attract very cheap and long money, which further invest in the infrastructure to improve the quality of life and retain talent.
Примеры артельных форм работают и есть во всех странах мира. Самоорганизация трудовых коллективов сейчас актуальная тема, и этому много примеров. Так называемые фрилансеры объединяются в творческие группы, подписывают договора с крупными компаниями, зарабатывают большие деньги, оставаясь при этом самозанятыми и свободными. Такая форма по душе молодым и творческим личностям.
Okay, there are examples of volunteer forms of work in all countries of the world. Self-organization of labor collectives is now an actual topic, and there are many examples of so-called freelancers and joint creative groups and sign contracts with large companies, earns a lot of money while remaining self-employed. This form is to the liking of young and creative personalities. Our authors methods of organization of labor of hotels Switzerland and well.
Наша авторская методика организации труда артелей им хорошо подходит. Опираясь на новые технологии и знания, а также на устройство глобальных финансов, нам предстоит добиться гармонизации всей системы отношений в обществе, баланс развития материальной и социальной сфер, создать гармоничную человекоориентированную экономику, добиться достижения целей устойчивого социального развития.
Based on new technologies and knowledge, as well as on the structure of global finance, we have to achieve the harmonization of the entire system of relations in society, the balance of the development of material and social spheres to create a harmonious human-oriented economy to achieve the goal of sustainable social development.
Спасибо за внимание. Готов поделиться опытом.
Thank you for attention. I can give some experience.
Следующее слово я хотел бы представить. У нас есть материал, поступивший или по электронной почте, по решению цифровых задач. Дмитрий прочитает.
Yes. Okay, we have two presentations of IT technology.
So, good afternoon, dear guests. I would like to present for you a project VITA. It means Virtual International Token Assistance. So, VITA is a global international network for the implementation and increase of voluntary work in the field of social services. With charitable and free, using digital blockchain, crypto technology for virtual accounting and distribution on a cashless basis. Virtual tokens are used as international virtual coins, which provide charitable services for the population, household, social, educational, medical, transportation, legal, cultural, and entertainment, and others, which makes it possible to maintain the necessary level of social benefits. The management company creates an international system of continental, state, regional centers to support, account for, and control the emission of virtual tokens and their distribution according to the policy of charity. Where tokens are formed providing charity services or as a result of charitable donations, the owners of their token receive the right to free social services. Accounting for the issue and distribution of virtual tokens is produced in digital blockchain crypto technologies. Emission of virtual tokens at the base of emission centers of the global network of charity services of VITA. In the case of the free individual voluntary social services, volunteers receive virtual tokens and additional virtual tokens. It's proportionally issued for distribution. In the case of free social services provided by companies and organizations, part of the virtual token is received by the benefactors and proportionally a part of the virtual token is additionally issued for charitable distribution. In the case of donations of material goods, money, property, rights, and other, an additional issue of virtual tokens is carried out in proportion to deposits. Virtual token can be personal in honor of volunteers and benefactors as a promotion or advertising. Virtual tokens can be stored, saved, donated, exchanged for social benefits, but they are not converted into cash. Additional virtual tokens are distributed among those who are in need of social support, people with disabilities, low-income categories of the population, orphans, and people who are in difficult life situation. The floating crate or virtual tokens is established taking into account the realities in different regions and countries, and is focused on the time required to provide specific social support. Legal entities and individuals who accept social virtual tokens as payment may use them for charity, additional retirement benefits for employees, for payments and other services. Thank you.
Еще одна технология, связанная с цифровыми средствами платежа.
Okay, this is of chief of the Judicial Charity Department, BRICS Alliance, Russian Federation, Star Region, Russia, Kazan. This one of the reports of IT technology. So, how to establish to the local national wealth funds and local emissions invest in the infrastructure projects, increase GDP, transparency, and remove financial inequality. Mile Unity Foundation is a public benefit international organization, educating governments, enterprises, and engineers and media about the applications of blockchain technology. This to provide equal access to the cross-border transactions, trade, investments, and money remittance, and to strengthen international relations. Modern digital platform for attracting investments to the emerging countries via the global growth funding, both from big foundations and retail investors, with multi-level funds protection. Business process overview. Each country can establish a foreign direct investment. FDI. Operator which is locally regulated. Each project can apply for the listing FDI to raise funds, debt equity. The key focus is in infrastructural, in innovational projects for the community-wide benefit. Every project is publishing the online offer, a digital contract with the investors describing the investments, time frame and rights and liabilities of every party. P&L. All projects are evaluated by the experts in the community via the multiple KPIs and math modeling. All projects are finalizing the online offering legal in contract to be investors, then it's being listed in the FDI operators market. Local government is able to add the government guarantees to cover the investors' risks. Investors can part any fiat digital asset. The operators converting them with market and discounts to stable basket or currencies following the FCDR index. All funds convert in XDR automatically to secure from the volatility and to acknowledge the investors' values. All funds are stored inside the country and the projects account inside the operator. Projects don't have access to the funds. The investor automatically signs an offer. XDR digital unit of accounts is used to track the expenditures and comps, automate transparent reporting and perform cross-border transactions. And at the end of the fundraising, there are two options. If there was enough funds collected, the project can start operating funds. If the funding was not enough, funds are released back to the investors. In case of successful fundraising, the project can start using funds. But all of them are passing through the multi-signature and the ballot with thresholds set for the board approval. For example, project can write an investment or offer that every payment exceeding 5% of the total funds volume is got to be approved by the board or an independent audit. Benefits of using XDR for the FDI management. Free, fast and secure funds collection from the investors from any country. Stable universal unit of account attached to IMF CDR and saves the funds from volatility, plus it is politically neutral and convenient. Free transactions allow to collect funds of any size, both from large investors and from the retail. Linking specific individuals and companies to the blockchain wallets. Transparency of the funds distribution possibility of limitation of the expenditures purposes automated in the global reporting. Reporting participants is gaining his global public reputation, and while we have to raise next time if he performed well. Action plan for FDI management. Find a local company to become an FDI operator, install a regulatory sandbox with limited access to the operator for the first time. While the Unity Foundation will provide a legislation framework, pick 5 interesting projects for the first launch and start promotion. While the Unity Foundation will help them to pack and PR the projects. National wealth funds, the same mechanism as described above. Thank you so much for the presentation. The same mechanism as described above for the FDI is working to crowdfund the project via the local business and physical persons. Each nation can be the owner and the developer of its own wealth. And the last action plan for the national wealth funds, create a national wealth fund with your local currency. While Unity Foundation will help evaluating the assets and locate XDR for the fund XDR, and the blockchain will be used to track the expenditures and prevent the corruption. Fundraising platform will activate the cash remains of the local business and people. So, okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Дорогие друзья, есть несколько минут у нас осталось для обсуждения вопросов, и есть предложение выслушать молодых с кратким выступлением.
So, dear friends, we have several minutes.
Ingrid Kim, представляет медиа вызовы в 21 веке.
Hello, honorable board members and guests and colleagues. I would like to say about my media report. The most important function of journalism in society is to deliver information to the public. It is an important democratic system as it brings transparency and provides citizens with the information they need to make the best possible decision about their lives and their governments. Press freedom is essential by ensuring public access to information. This freedom is empowered by unpunished reprisals against journalists and civic activists, which the United Nations already documents as it should. Society is making it harder for journalists to remain credible. The world needs journalists because they are committed to finding truth and protecting citizens. In many countries, the free flow of information is possible without resource to attacks against independent journalists. In some countries, there are no independent journalists at all. And even in countries with considerable freedom of expression, there are often both formal and informal barriers against the disclosure, dissemination, and discussion of what should be public information. Journalists, civil society activists, and academic researchers are among the few who will use legal tools professionally for a public service purpose. Ensuring access to information will also require extensive training for independent media professionals so we can make the freedom of information requests necessary for investigative journalism and for all areas of development reporting. While more than 100 of the United Nations member states have enacted their own access to information laws, most of these laws have been passed only recently, and in many countries effective implementation has barely begun. Even in the long-established democracies of the West, legal recognition of the public right for information is a very recent development. A third difference between Russian and American journalism concerns training and specialization. A reporter in the United States is typically considered to possess universal competence, implying in he or she can cover local news, entertainment, legal affairs of economy, more or less successful depending on particular assignment. Russian journalists, on the other hand, confine themselves to major area of expertise which they choose and their careers. Their training is thus quite extensive in within a rather narrow area of application is opposite American standards, by which reporters are usually armed with broader and more theoretical seminars. The advantage enables American colleagues to migrate from their subject coverage another and adapt quite easily to the stylistic norms of their no beat. Thank you for your attention.
Дорогие друзья, предлагаю задать вопросы, обсудить повестку.
So, dear guests, if you have some questions, welcome this time for that. If you want to clarify something.
Okay, we are open for collaboration and different ways for collaborations, IT technology. So thank you so much for our meeting.
Ну, еще одно слово у Александра. Давайте.
Ну, мы вас очень благодарим, что вы нашли время сегодня и собрались за наш круглый стол. У нас пока очень мало времени для того, чтобы мы участвовали на этой площадке, но мы верим в то, что нас будут больше и больше слушать, потому что мы заинтересованы в том, чтобы все люди на Земле через эту площадку занимались именно социальной своей ответственностью. Да, и вот наша программа, которую мы хотели бы сделать, социальный код активности людей, чтобы он был поддержан всеми нами и давал именно поощрение для того, чтобы люди были очень внимательны друг к другу, были добры и, соответственно, хотели делать все то, что необходимо делать без тех политических санкций, да, а наоборот, делать все, что нужно для того, чтобы все люди были вместе.
So, dear guests, thank you for coming. We don't have enough time, but we will work on our social projects. And we hope many people will invite in our social projects, and in future will be better and better with our efforts together.
У нас уже готово приложение, через несколько месяцев мы начнем его тестировать, оно будет работать по всему миру. И там каждый человек может получить, во-первых, правила этикета и общения светских отношений и гражданского этикета. Соответственно, может объединиться независимо от границ для того, чтобы все люди вместе занимались тем, чтобы были все не только образованные, да, но и воспитанные люди, и, соответственно, старались помогать всем тем людям, которые имеют инвалидность и все остальное.
Firstly, we want to help people with disabilities, and we tested our application, so you can find this application in future, and this application can improve our future, so we will work on it.
Мы предлагаем продолжить наш диалог уже теперь с помощью цифровых средств, через социальные сети. Найти нас можно по названию нашей организации. Мы доклады в электронном виде все выложим, и вы будете иметь возможность ознакомиться с ними. И дальше мы предлагаем продолжить диалог.
So we are open in digital reality, we would like to show the names of our organization, so you can find us easier. So welcome to our.
Доклады наши будут размещены.
Yes, and all materials. We will show in a website.
We'll present our website, Cell of Hope. You can see our website. All reports and presentation you can see on our website.
Спасибо за ваше внимание.
Thank you for your
Thank you so much for your attention.